I started to like build connections through like workshops or through classes here in Taiwan.
Build connections 就是建立。
Build connection 到底是建立什么关系呢？立即收看本集的精彩内容。
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the NG 英文 show. My name is John Drummond, or Yang Haoen.
Hi, 大家好，欢迎回到 NG 英文，我是 Stephanie。今天的来宾是一位演员，同时也从事幕后选角的职位。接下来就让我们来欢迎 Wendy。
Today, I am joined by the incredibly talented Wendy. Wendy is an actor. She works on both sides of the cinema, so she's working with crews and casting, and that's how we got to meet. She is aspiring to work in the US and working here in Taiwan, and so much more. So everyone, please welcome Wendy.
Thank you.
What's up, Wendy?
Hello, everyone. My name is Wendy. Nice to meet y'all.
Oh, look at you. You're a little YouTuber now.
I'm trying. I'm
Yeah, you're
a little nervous, you know.
Well, you're going to do great, I can tell you. But I was just kind of remembering, it's so cool because Stephanie was on the show last week, and it's awesome because you guys are working together, and we got to meet through a casting situation for a movie, and so you've been working on both sides of the camera, and yeah, I can't wait to share a bit about your acting career and all the things you're aspiring to do.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe do you mind giving a self-introduction to our audience here on NG 英文?
Okay, so hello, my name is Wendy. I'm an actress. I've started acting like 5 years ago, and studied like for 2 years in the US. So when I came back, like I started to like build connections through like workshops or through classes here in Taiwan, and then I started to pick up some gigs here. And life as an actress or any artist in general, it's pretty like a struggle throughout the whole
Cue Life is Struggle song.
Yeah. But at the beginning, there's definitely struggles here and there. And so one of the main reasons that I started to do crew stuff is because I wanted to, you know, build more connections with the industry.
Yeah.
Want to know more people to see if there's any more chances, opportunities to promote myself. Yeah, even though like people would think of me as a crew member, but I would like, you know, casually say, hey, I'm also an actress, so feel free to, you know, if you have any characters that fit me, hit me up and I'll go audition, like, you know?
Yeah, I mean, thank you, Wendy, because I think it is honest, because it's a struggle. I mean, you have to be building a network, you have to be auditioning, you have to be constantly dealing with rejection. And I know something that you and I have spoke about off air is dealing with what it's like to have a role that doesn't fit a stereotypical character. So maybe for you were saying a little bit, sometimes your Mandarin has a little accent, right? And so you can't play that like born in Taiwan specific role, right? Or you're taller, right? And you have a certain look, and yeah, and it's challenging, and people I think forget that who are not in the industry, because they're like, oh, everyone just is getting all the roles and they just make all this money and it's just, you're so famous, and it's like, nah, there's, you know, for every one of those people there's hundreds that are on the up-and-coming side and trying to find their voice. So very, very honest. Thank you. Do you mind, though, if we maybe kind of talk about the acting side? Do you want to be focused on commercial acting? Do you want to focus on movies or dramas? Where's your heart?
Oh, my heart is with the movies. My heart is in the movies. Dramas actually as well, TV shows. Commercials for me, it's more of a
like build the portfolio.
Yeah, money, it's good from the commercial part. But it's also kind of like a fun thing to do, because it's so different how they shot, how they work. It's so different from movies and dramas. So yeah, it'll be fun. But my main focus is with movies and TV dramas so I can actually build a character. Because I think like the one main reason why I want to become an actress is because I get really moved or get really motivated by characters that I see on movies, I see on the TV dramas. I get inspired by them. I get motivations, or I feel energized by their stories, and I feel like because nowadays social media is really, you know, convenient, and it's everywhere. So there's not really a boundary of where you are, because even though like here I'm in Taiwan, I can still see TV shows or movies from America, and likewise, you know. So I feel like it's a really miraculous thing to you know, convey the story and to reach out to people. And maybe like, I don't know, I could be, you know, like an influencer. I could influence somebody.
I mean, that's beautiful, and I think I'm a softie, so I get moved by movies. I cry. I'm not ashamed to admit it, and it's because the actor was in the role so deeply. Like I was in their shoes, you know, or I felt so moved by a story that they're telling, and they're telling it through their body language, through their facial features, you know, through the character that they embody. And so it's really beautiful that, you care so much about that, and you want to give that to the audience, because that's a real good performance. Thinking about your training then kind of with that, what do you do to get into a character? What helps you embody that character role?
Well, I think it's really hard too. So my main goal is to do that, but in order to reach, or in order to you know, build that character, it's really hard, and you really have to dig into how, like, what people are. It's like it's like you have to do more studies than you ever imagined. I remember a lot of people say, oh, you do acting stuff, you do like arty stuff, it's because you don't want to study. Oh no. If you do like art stuff, you have to study more, actually. That's my perspective, because you have to dig into the more details. You have to dig into every aspects of life, or every point of view from different people and different living backgrounds, how they were raised, what they went through when in their childhood, what they have, you know, occurred, like what they thought about, what they like experienced, and everything. You have to, you know, kind of like really get into their shoes. But in order to get into their shoes, it's so difficult at sometimes, because it's so different from who you are. And that part is challenging, but it's also really, I don't know, happy for me. I enjoy
rewarding.
It. Really rewarding.
Yeah. And it's so cool. And the word that comes to my mind is empathy. Like you learn to have empathy and compassion for all sorts of other people. And then you have to then be them. Like and do it in a way that's honest and real, and, you know, doesn't feel cartoonish or fake. Because
you definitely don't want to disrespect them. Right. You don't want to, you know, stereotype them or tag, like put a mark on them. It's put a label on them.
Right.
Yeah.
今天的来宾 Wendy 是一位演员，那在5年前的时候开始接触演戏。那他曾经花2年的时间在美国读书，也因此他刚回台湾的时候就得不断的透过工作坊跟课程建立人脉。那来宾说一开始的确有蛮多挣扎的，但他会开始幕后的工作这一块，主要也是为了要建立在产业中的人脉，看能不能透过这些人推广自己，争取一些机会。那来宾也跟 John 分享，因为他中文有一点点口音，所以其实他不太能够接到土生土长台湾人的角色。那尤其来宾也比较高，所以也遇到蛮多困难的。 如果没有接触过演艺界的人，可能会觉得演员都很容易接到一些角色，然后成名，然后赚到很多钱。但其实实际上，大多数的人都还在努力的找到自己的定位。那来宾也分享他的喜好是电影跟电视剧，但是广告他觉得也不错，因为毕竟广告的费用还是蛮好的，而且作业方式跟电影不太一样。那像电影，他主要会专注在建立一个角色。来宾会想要成为演员的原因，是因为他会被这些电影跟电视剧里的角色感动或是激励，尤其他们的故事会让他有一种被激发的感觉。尤其现在因为社群其实变得蛮方便的，所以其实没有什么界限，就算是在台湾也能看到美剧，也认为能够影响别人成为一个有影响力的人是一个很神奇的事情。那来宾也承认他自己是一个心软的人，所以他看到感人的电影是会哭的，那因为他会被他们的演技感动。那来宾说，为了建立角色，其实需要做蛮多功课的。那很多人可能会以为，比较喜欢艺术相关的人，或许是不喜欢读书的人，但其实他认为反而需要读的书更多。尤其如果角色的设定跟自己本身差很多，他还得试着去理解他所经历的一切。那来宾说，这是最困难的部分，也是最有意义的。那我们来复习一下刚刚来宾提到的一些片语跟词汇。那第一个就是 build connections。Build connections 就是建立人脉。那另一个是 casting C-A-S-T-I-N-G casting。 那如果光看这个字的话，它的意思是扔、撒或者是抛，但在形容演艺产业相关的职位时，它代表着是选角的人哦。那另一个字是 miraculous M-I-R-A-C-U-L-O-U-S miraculous 代表着神奇。那最后就是 softie S-O-F-T-I-E softie 代表着一个心软的人哦。那我们继续来听接下来的专访吧。
Yeah, and so what do you think is the goal for you, Miss Wendy? I mean, do you want to be working here in Taiwan and working in the US, or where do you aspire as an actress?
Well, my ultimate goal is actually like working both in the US and in Taiwan. So I was trained in the US, and I feel like really lucky that I did had that experience, and also kind of proud of myself because
Yeah. Yeah, because that's serious work. You went through like legitimate like training, like schools and stuff?
No, actually. So after I graduated from college from dental hygienist, I went to the US. It was because my family and I discussed that, so you graduated from dental hygienist, maybe you want to transit to become a dentist. And so I went to the US starting like, okay, I have to go to the dentistry schools. But that wasn't really like my own thought. It was more of a, family discussion, something like that, following the orders, following their expectations. And so before I really went into a university, I started at the community college, so I could like get the standards and ready and
the prerequisites and all that.
Yeah. And while I was like choosing the courses, I saw theater program. I was like, okay, why not like take one course?
Really, that's how it began?
Yeah, because it has always been in my mind since middle school or since elementary. I don't know, like way back then. Performing arts has been my thing, has been something that really moved me, and I really want to do it, but yeah, maybe lack of courage, or maybe, I was too timid and too obedient. And so like I was like, okay, I'm taking all these courses, it's going to be boring, why not take one theater class that really gives me energy and really gives me joy? And so that's how I began. And after one course, I took another course and course after course. And yeah, and then that's when I started oh, I want to take this seriously. But that struggle was really real. I had to go through a lot of communications with my mom at that time, and also within myself. So I actually went to student counseling. I went to see like like a therapist. I went to see therapist and talked about my fear and talked about what should I do. I was like really lost, and also talked to my teachers as well. And so yeah, it was a really struggling year at the time, but I don't know, at then one point, I don't know what happened, I saw this video about not regretting and not I felt like I don't want to die with regrets. I want to, okay, I don't know when I'm gonna die. So like, this is kind of negative, but it's so real to me. It's that I don't know when I'm gonna die. I think that like maybe the next second something would happen to me and I would just like go away or pass away, and I don't want to pass away in the last second and thought of, oh, I should have done that. Like, I wished I could have done that. I don't want that. So everything changed, and I started to take acting more seriously than ever. And I talked to my mom. Oh, we had a huge fight. Or fights, actually. And also had a lot of like I had to like to prove how seriously I am at the time. And so at the end, I'm really happy. Now my mom, she's my biggest fan and she is my biggest supporter. So that's why I'm like really happy. My mom, she is there for me and she knows what I'm going through, and she gives me support, and she's my core. If I could, like, my ultimate goal is to work both in the US and both in Taiwan, because since I have the language ability, and of course recently there's more Asian roles there in the US.
Yeah, great time for this.
It's very great time, and I really want to capture this opportunity. And for me, being fluent in English and Chinese, I definitely feel like it's my time.
It's your time. I love it, and you're so right. Yeah, right. I mean, this is a great opportunity to capture both audiences, right? In the U.S., really anywhere in the world, and Asia, though.
来宾也分享他的最终目标就是在美国跟台湾都可以演戏，因为他是在美国受训的，他认为自己很幸运。那来宾也分享他大学读的其实是跟洁牙师相关的科系，所以家人本来有询问他是否有想要成为牙医师的想法，也因此他去了美国准备读牙医学校。那他当时先去了社区大学修他需要的学分跟必要的课程，那当时他刚好看到了戏剧课就选修了。那来宾说他其实除了跟他母亲需要沟通之外呢，他自己也找了学校的諮商师说明了他自己的恐惧。那他当时非常的迷茫，所以也找了老师聊过。那他后来开始认真看待演戏之后，也跟他母亲大吵了一架，但现在他的母亲却是他最死忠的粉丝跟支持者哦。那我们来复习一下刚刚来宾提到的片语跟词汇。第一个是 prerequisite， P-R-E-R-E-Q-U-I-S-I-T-E prerequisite， 这是指必须先具备的或是先决条件。那通常大学就是就读某个科系的时候会很常听到的，比如说你可能申请之前需要具备某一个条件哦。那刚刚来宾也提到 lack of courage， 那 lack of 就是指缺乏，所以 lack of courage 就是指缺乏勇气哦。那我们继续来听接下来的专访吧。
But so beautifully said, thinking about kind of the language, because you have such an advantage right now. You speak fluently in English and Mandarin, and so you could play a role in the US that is unrelated to language, doing it in English, but you could also play a character here in Taiwan specifically. So thinking about your language a little bit, what have you noticed about English, let's say, for example, because how did you learn English?
Wow, I'm not really sure how I learned English, but I'm pretty sure that English is actually my first language that I ever studied. So I studied English before I studied Chinese, because when I was little, my mom, she was studying in the US and she brought me to the US. And during elementary school, that's when we started, to learn the alphabets, whether it's in English or in Chinese, the bupamurfa. Yeah. So I started to learn ABCs before bupamurfa. But yeah, I think it's because I have the opportunity, and I'm really lucky to have the English environment provided when I was a child. So that really built my basic. But back then, I was going back and forth from the US and Taiwan.
Right.
So I would
your Chinese was...
yeah. So, I would be half a semester in the US, half a semester in Taiwan. So I was going back and forth, and everything for me, both language was half and half. So everything stopped when I was in 4th grade, I guess. So I stayed in the US consistently until the end of 5th grade. Suddenly my mom, she said, okay, you need to go back to Taiwan for your 6th grade. So now you have to learn Chinese. And the only characters that I know in Chinese was very basic. It was...
我爱你.
Yeah, basically. 我爱你, 你我他. Only that. And my mom, she sent me to this Buddha temple. So it's like a summer camping thing. And yeah, that's how I started to see Chinese characters and started to learn, actually. And so after that summer vacation camping thing, I came back to Taiwan. My Chinese sucked, and I couldn't keep up with everybody. For hearing part, I could understand most of the times, but then there are some times I couldn't really understand what they're talking about. And then at school, I couldn't read. So I really have to depend on the bupamurfa, so I could kind of pronounce these words and get to know what the Chinese characters are. And I was really lucky to have this teacher who was really patient with me, but also really strict. So he would force me to bring a dictionary around all the time and have me to look up words and to look up phrases. So I think for both language, because after the Chinese part, I have to do the same thing with the English part, is that dictionary is actually my friend. But
Shout out to your teacher.
Yeah. But I think for me, learning whether it's learning English or learning Chinese, you have to put in effort. You have to put in your time, and kind of know what works best for you. For me, it's writing and looking at the words. So I need to have, it doesn't have to be textbooks. It could actually be like novels. It could be some books that you're really interested. But when you come to a vocabulary or phrases that you're not sure what it is, don't look it up immediately. Have a guess for yourself. Just look at the phrases, look at the paragraph, and kind of have a guess about what that is, and then look it up. And then you're like, oh, maybe you guessed it wrong, or maybe, oh, I guessed it right. Cool,
Yeah, on that context of what the sentence is. Yeah, it's great.
来宾说他不太记得自己是怎么学英文的，因为应该算是他的母语。那小时候因为他母亲还在美国读书，所以他小学的时候就跟着母亲到了美国。 那因为台湾、美国来回跑，所以其实每半个学期就会来回一次。那也因此中文跟英文的使用率都是各半。直到他4年级的时候，来宾才在美国定下来。可是5年级毕业后，他的母亲说他必须回台湾读6年级。可是当时他的中文能力还处于非常基础的阶段，所以他后来就被送去一间庙，有点像夏令营。那其实也因此在那边学了一些中文字，可惜还是没有办法跟上小学6年级的程度。但在听力方面大致上是没有问题的，但在阅读就没有那么好了，所以都会依赖注音。那当时他很幸运的遇到一位老师，所以就被逼着带着字典到处跑。那来宾认为其实学习任何语言都是需要付出努力跟时间，以及找到适合自己的方式。像来宾他就是透过写字跟看字去学习，那他认为不一定要从课本学习，可以透过可能小说之类的。然后当他看到他不会的词汇或是片语的时候，他会先透过章节猜猜看意思，再去查询。那我们继续来听接下来的专访吧。
A question I'd love to end the show with, Miss Wendy, is if you could go back and talk to a younger Wendy, maybe between when you were going back and forth with Taiwan and the US, would there be any advice you give yourself about acting, language, life, anything?
I think if I could really go back in time and talk to my younger self, it's that don't be too obedient.
Interesting. I've never heard that one. I like it. Yeah.
The reason why I say that it's not like you have to like do bad stuff. No, it's not. It's more of a follow your heart and don't be afraid to do what you actually love, and don't be afraid to actually speak up for yourself. Yeah, because I was too timid and too shy, and also not brave enough to stand up for myself and to actually show how seriously I am about art, about performing. Yeah, for my younger self, just follow your heart.
I love it.
Don't be too obedient. Speak up for yourself, stand up, and do what you love.
Yeah, I love it.
来宾会给年轻自己的建议就是不要太听话，但这不代表着要做坏事，比较像是随心所欲，不要害怕去做自己真正喜欢的事情，并且替自己说话。因为他认为自己当时太胆小、太害羞，也不够勇敢去捍卫自己对于演戏的热爱程度。那我们就谢谢今天的来宾 Wendy。
Awesome, Wendy. Well, where can people follow along maybe with your life on social media and reach out to you?
My Instagram name is Wenchechi, which is the my Chinese Roman Loma Ping. I have no idea how to say it.
Romanization
Yeah.
of your Chinese name.
But yeah, so WENCHIHCHI.
Nice. Awesome, Wendy. All right. Well, thank you for your time today. Thanks for joining us on the NG English show, and we'll talk to you next time.
Okay, thank you.
All right. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us on the NG Ingwen show. Please go follow along with Wendy and see her fly in all her ways. Or myself, John Drummond 89, or Yang Haoen. Spirit fingers. Nice. All right, everyone. Thank you for your time, your dedication to learning, and your curiosity. We'll talk to you next time. Much love. Peace. All right. Well, that is our NG Ingwen show for today. We hope everyone enjoyed listening to that. You can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and now Spotify. You can search NG Ingwen, or you can search on IG NG English ICRT. And don't forget to tune in every Wednesday morning from 6:30 to 7 and Wednesday night from 9 to 9:30. We'll catch you on the next episode. Bye-bye.